So today I will be talking about Michelle Obama as I draw a portrait of her. Former First Lady Michelle Obama is recently known for her book tour, as well as a documentary about her tour, promoting her autobiography, simply titled Becoming. Becoming is a powerful memoir of her life growing up from the south side of Chicago, to meeting her future husband, to eventually becoming the First Lady of the United States. It is also a memoir of discovering who she is and what she has become, as well as connecting with others on her journey of self-discovery. It is a refreshing space of decency, in contrast to the nationwide divide left by the previous administration. The idea of becoming is interesting to me, not only as an artist, but as a human being, as it immediately reminds me of a quote from another important woman in history, a French feminist by the name of Simone de Beauvoir. Simone once said, and I quote, "One is not born, but rather becomes a woman." This basically means that one is not born into anything. As we build ourselves out of our own choices and resources, we create not only our values, but we create ourselves. This is parallel to what Michelle Obama stands for. In Michelle's own words, she echoes the same idea, as quoted from the documentary of her book tour. If you don't get out there and define yourself, you'll be quickly and inaccurately defined by others. Becoming isn't about arriving somewhere or achieving a certain aim. It's a way to reach continuously toward a better self. Like Simone, the former First Lady urges us to challenge the roles of gender in society. In many ways, Michelle's journey was a typical American story, rags to riches, but also a subversion. Michelle does not shy away from the realities of race and gender, and her reflection is rather complex and very candid. Both Simone de Beauvoir and Michelle Obama's ideas also demonstrate and challenge the role gender plays in art and media, the way they are marketed and represented not only as a woman, but also as a woman of color. They challenge how we look at the line of presidential portraiture and how we visually prioritize the First Lady alongside the President. Prior to and after her career in the White House, many books have been written about the Obamas, even in children's books. Aside from the negativity and critical takes on Michelle, many fortunately have followed in her footsteps, especially her daughters, as well as athletes like notable tennis player Naomi Osaka, and recently Amanda Gorman, a renowned African-American poet. But this leadership in representing a diversity of bodies in positive light is nothing new. In fact, little do people know that in the Middle Ages, prior to the 15th century, artists were very interested in representing a diversity of ethnic variations, including skin colors, hair textures, and facial features. They hardly shy away. It wasn't until Europe began their exploratory conquest and Spain expelled its dark-skinned African population did they decide to whitewash depictions of colored people. This understanding of history challenges the common perception that the period of antiquity to medieval Europe was all white, which was much more recent and deliberate invention to justify racial purity. Today we have a much more contemporary issue, that of people who are biracial or bicultural identity. We are often led by conventional wisdom. That is, we are simply the product of our own environment and family bloodline. But I argue that we are also the product of social perception, and our actions, our reactions to those perceptions. People do not live in singular worlds. Some people are born of two or multiracial families, each with their own cultural expectations and habits. The becoming does not happen on its own. We are who we are because of how we want to become it, and how others treat us, and how we treat others. I know that sounded abstract, but in other words, Michelle Obama is the way she is because of how we choose to perceive her. When people of color are allowed to have their voice, then the better we can understand who they are and allow them to become themselves, and not led by conventional perception. So I find it fascinating that art itself continues to be a space of debate on representation. And it's tempting to think artists like me today are trying to advance a multicultural agenda. I mean, as if it's a bad thing. Anyways, I hope people can see that learning how to depict and represent different types of people only enhances your ability as an artist, as opposed to hindering it. I hope I can improve on the likeness of these portraits by not shying away from the diversity in beauty and representation. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you're new to this channel, my name is Miguel. I'm an artist, and check out the other videos that you haven't seen yet if you haven't already. Look over here.